Good morning, everybody. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I gotta go take ASC testing today. A little bit nervous. It's been a while since I've done any kind of testing like that, and it was always normal for me to just go take a test and pass it, especially if you've been in the field for a while or you have any kind of common knowledge or anything that's going on. And with me not being with Ford anymore or a manufacturer anymore, I figured, why not go get my ASCs? If I'm not going to be factory certified and trained, then I may as well be some kind of certified. And if I go past the tests, at least I have something. And that'll stay with me and nobody can take that away from me. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. I'm taking, I think, 4 of the 9 tests today is what I'm doing. So I had a guy come into the shop yesterday. He's looking for somebody to do some work on an older Mercedes of his. And the particular problem that he's dealing with, I've already fixed. And I told him, I said, you know what? Bring it into me. I get it lined out for you for what you're going to end up buying chemical-wise, part-wise, and everything else to get this thing fixed. Get the glass adjusted and pulled apart and everything else is going to be the same money that you have into me fixing it myself. I told my sisters, bring it to me, and I'll hook you up. I'll just take care of you price-wise. It's not going to be cost-effective for you to do the repair yourself. I already have what I need. It's just basically labor. And the guy was like, you know what, you're right, that does sound right, so I'm just going to bring it to you. And he said, I got a bunch of vehicles I got to get in over the next couple months just for general service and looking over. He said, I got 16 vehicles, man, and I've just been collecting vehicles over the years and stuff, and I got a nice indoor piece of property that I parked the vehicles at. It's a storage facility that I bought years ago, and it was cheap, and I kind of fixed it up over the years and turned it into a personal storage. And he said, one of the vehicles I have is a really unique, rare 1981 old body style Camaro. It's not the newer body style that came after that, or the right before that. So it's the Smokey and the Bandit looking body, from that era. It's not the new not longer, but boxier style, more canted style, slanted hood and everything else, flat hood, canted headlight area and stuff. They came from like the IROC Camaro that everybody knows. And he said it's a 1981 Camaro Z28, and he said it's 2,000 miles or 20,000 miles on the body. And he said it's got a big block 502 in it. But the rest of the car, the whole setup, everything is all factory. The seats and everything are all still plush, like you just took the plastic off of them. It's like it just got dropped off the truck. And he said, I'd like to sell it, but I don't know, for what I have into it with the cost of the engine and the labor installation out in California where it was done back in the day. And he said, I want close to like $50,000 for this thing, because the car is like literally like it's never been driven. That's how like spotless this thing is. And I was like, huh, show me a picture of it. And he pulled a picture up, and I was like, oh my God, man. Black with the gold stripes and like the tan type interior, that vanilla color tan type interior. Or maybe it's a little bit more brown than vanilla. And it looks immaculate. It's got the big 6-inch hood scoop riser where that 502 sits underneath it. And he said, yeah, I just don't ever drive it. I never even get in the thing and start it up anymore. Like, he says, I go out to the unit, I'll start the cars, I'll let them run for 15-20 minutes, and I'll shut them off. And I never get in this Camaro and just go drive it. And he said, I'd like, if you want, come out and video it, hang out. And I said, yeah, give me your phone number and stuff. I'll call one day and I can come out there and hang out, and I'll video some cars, especially that Camaro. And he was like, yeah, it's going to be a lot of money for somebody to buy it because of how rare it is and how it's set up, and it's turnkey ready to go. Like, no problems. Every single thing is brand new. He said, I bet you that doesn't have 500 miles on the new engine that was installed in there. Because after I had it installed, I bought another car, and then another car, and then I got tied up with buying cars and enjoying them, that I just never got back to enjoying that car. So that's something that we could get scheduled here in the future. If you guys are interested in seeing that car, I'll go take some time, maybe this Saturday. The girls are going to be gone this Saturday. Maybe I'll just take some time to myself to go do something like, like that. It's not work related, or not fixing something at the house, and just take a break for me. I don't know. Also, I'm going to be looking for an 8.8 out of a Thunderbird or a Mustang or something like that for the 5.0 swap. It's getting shipped out today. The engine, transmission, the harness, and everything. So Eric did confirm with me yesterday. He's like, hey man, I'm going to go ahead and get that shipped out tomorrow for you. So be expecting it here in the next couple days. With that being said, I'm not going to get started on it immediately. It's not going to be a super priority, like where I'm going to start ripping apart the engine, the transmission, and everything. That's going to get taken care of over here. Next, I don't know, year. It's going to be over. It's going to be a long time project, and I'm going to walk through with what I do, and I'll show you guys what I do. But what I want to do is do this slow and make sure it's done right. Pull everything out of the car, pull the brake lines, pull everything out of it. Well, if the brake lines are good, I won't touch them, but pull all of the things that need to be pulled out to make sure that this car, the engine bay and everything, gets painted before the engine's installed. Just do it right, up front, do it right. And I know I need to swap the rear end of that car. It's gonna have to go, so I'm gonna have to find another rear end to go in it. So if you guys can come up with an 8.8, or if you know where one's at, or you've seen one on Marketplace or something, let me know. And I need it to be able to swap into that. I know there may be some fabrication, but I don't want to cut out the whole rear end and stuff like that to try to get this thing to fit. Or chop up the whole rear end and the mounting points. And somebody said there was like a 87 or 88 Super Coupe Thunderbird had an 8.8 with like a 355 limited slip or something like that would work great in that setup. If that's the case and I could find one, that's great. But there's a guy online right now, Marketplace. He's got one for $2,700. It's a brand new 8.8 built with coilovers, and he said he hasn't even had it on the road yet. It's a strange 8.8, I think is what he said it was on Marketplace. $2,700. It's already got brakes and everything on it. All you got to do is figure out a way to fab it up. I don't know. Anyhow, it is what it is, right? Got to find it, got to do it. But if I could take that full assembly and just right in that vehicle, oh my God, that would be so awesome. But I don't know what I'd be running into, or even really what I need to look at with the strange 8.8 that he has. It's built. It looks like it's in like a race truck, but it was a project that maybe went south and never put it on the road. It's still mounted to the nice G8, Pontiac G8. Sounds like it's got some exhaust work done and maybe a little cam work done. Maybe that would be the way. Just pay the $2,700 or whatever for a completely built one already and just put it right in. If that will work, I don't know. That strange axle setup, though, if I remember correctly, it said it was a 35 spline axle, and it was a spool setup, not a limited slip diff setup. So it's specifically set up to run. Maybe that would be too much for that car. I don't know. It's gonna be a nice, decent, interesting project. Come in early, work a little bit. Go take the test this afternoon and get out early. Today's rainy. Ain't gonna be a lot going on today. Business is good though. We got several more vehicles that came in yesterday. I'll show you guys real quick. So you guys seen the video yesterday on this. This was the lead frame. It's finished. We got to do a tune-up on it now. This came in. They were concerned with the gentleman said he's seen some fluid, some oil, some grease on the ends of his sway bar links. Not sway bar links, but his tie rod assembly in this Jeep. And he said, my wife, this is her baby, and I don't want to see any fluid anywhere. So if you could take a look at it and make sure nothing's going on while we get underneath there. And there's nothing wrong with the tie rod assembly at all. It looks like somebody put a radiator hose on with a regular worm clamp type, or a regular hose clamp type, I should say. And it's starting to push off. It had a couple drips of fluid coming out of the hose. It looks like it just needs to be pushed back on and resecured. And there was a little bit of some trans fluid coming from one of the fittings going into the radiator. So that's going to be checked out today. This here is a Volvo S60 T5. Yeah, Volvo S60 T5. The messed up part about this car is when you put the VIN in the computer, it comes up as a 2.4 liter turbo. But this is not a 2.4 liter turbo. Everything I was able to gain on this car says this is a 2.5 liter turbo, 5-cylinder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when this thing is running, there's two things going on. This hose right here was all cracked up from the PCV. We replaced that yesterday. And the main turbo tube, it's a new turbo. Somebody put a brand new turbo on this thing. Let me see if I can get a shot for you guys. But the tube goes to it, it's all cracked up. And it's pissing all over the place, leaking all over the place. Sucking in unfiltered, unmetered air. It's causing issues with the way it runs. So, I fixed that PCV tube. Not PCV. Purge valve tube. Coming off the purge valve was all cracked up. They always crack on these cars. And that tube going to the turbo, when you look up the VIN, it says it's supposed to be a different tube than what it actually is. Called up the dealer. The dealer ran a number and said, no, the original one you got was the right one. I said, it's not the right one. I physically have the tube in my hand right now. Well, according to that VIN, the tube that you have in your hand that came off the car says it's not supposed to be on that car. And I said, but it is. So I went on fcpeuro.com and I actually looked up the right tube for it. Gave them the part number and they were like, yeah, we can get that tube, but again, based on your VIN, that tube is not supposed to be on that car. What it is, the gearbox, everything matches up. The connections, the little ports and stuff that go to it, it all matches up. So something's wrong with the way this car was listed then. But this is the tube that I need. So now I gotta wait till freaking Monday to get the right tube for this thing because they don't have it. BMW is finally finished. AC and everything was done yesterday. That was the one with the computer problem where the pin was broke off in the computer and I had to get a hold of Cody's Auto Diagnostics and he cloned a computer for me. Sent it back. We put it in, reinitiated everything, got it all to handshake. The only thing I have left now is there's an exhaust manifold leak. And I don't know if the gentleman wants to attack that right now. But that's the car he bought for $1,000. Then put $800 in getting the computer and everything going. Then he gave me like another $800 and said to fix all the little small stuff as well. So we had like brake pads and stuff on it, and there was an ambient temp sensor issue. The AC needed to be charged. There was a seal that was leaking, so we fixed the seal leak. Now he's got himself a running, driving car. It already has an aluminum pan update. This car's already had a ton of stuff updated on it from when the previous owner used to bring this car here. But when it had that computer problem, he just freaked out and wanted to bail on it. And he was like, look, I don't know what I'm going to get into with this computer problem. I just want to sell it for cheap the way it is. And well, this old man basically stole it from him. And now he's got an all-wheel drive 5 Series BMW. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and turn compressor and lights and everything on, get the shop running, get off of here. Maybe I'll do a little live stream here in a second. Y'all be blessed.